Hey all, Bryan VantHof here with Remax Advantage Plus. Ramsey trusted the Minnesota real estate team and the VantHof Realty Group. Hope you made it through hopefully what will be our coldest stretch of the winter here over the past week and weekend. Hopefully we have to talk less about the weather and more just about real estate and maybe some thawing or maybe some snow. Who knows? Haven't had really a whole lot of snow in the area really for a number of years now. A little bit of warming, a little bit of moisture, a little bit of snow, or a little bit of warming and no snow would all be fine with me. I just don't want 20 below. I don't know about you, but this week we're going to talk about the real estate market. We're also going to talk a little bit about how the weather, especially over the past 2 weeks, has kind of impacted where things have been for buyers and for sellers. Also, we are just a little over a week away from the Super Bowl. Super Bowl historically has been really kind of the start of the real estate season, when we start to see more inventory hit the market, when we start to see more buyers hit the market, when we've seen people have gotten their taxes done for 2025, so they can now go get pre-approved for that mortgage. Really just about anything that can go in the real estate industry really starts and gets going very quickly right after the Super Bowl, because there's just a lot of factors that kind of combine to make that the time: weather, taxes, motivation to go get somewhere for the summer, whatever it happens to be. But we are very, very close to kind of that breakout on the real estate industry. It's going to be a good year for sellers. It's going to be a good year for buyers. We're going to see the most buyer selection for first-time home buyers than we've seen in the past 4 years. If you're looking at buying a home, looking at selling a home, time to plan, time to talk to me, time to get that ball rolling. To get going, as always, let's talk about the week that was in our local real estate market for previously owned homes within that 50-mile radius of downtown Minneapolis in Minnesota. And yes, that's a mouthful. If you're looking at what 50 miles from downtown Minneapolis looks like, it gets almost to Hutchinson on the west side, Faribault on the south side, Rush City on the north side. So it covers a very long, very significant amount of real estate. So we saw 557 new listings in the past 7 days. That's down 5 from the prior week, and 134 fewer than this same week last year. At least 114 of our new listings have sold in the first week so far. That's 9 more than the prior week. Of our new listings, 365 are single family homes. That's down 5. 128 are townhomes. That's down 4. And 64 are condos. That's up 4. Coming soon listings did jump up by 41 homes from the prior week to 165 today. Last year, during this last Thursday of January, that number was 117. So I had fewer coming soon listings, but we also were warmer and we had a few more listings hit the market earlier in the month. Total available inventory dropped again this week to 3,674. That's down 112 from last week, 410 more than this same week last year. We are currently at our lowest inventory level since April 10 of last year, and I'm really kind of hoping we have bottomed out on our inventory. Of our available homes, 2,017 are single family. That's down 93 from last week, but 245 more than last year. Median listing price of $425,000, which is up $5,000 from last week, but still 40 grand lower than last year. Days on the market of 73, that's unchanged from last week, but 7 more than where we were last year. 867 are townhomes, that's down 14 from last week, but 145 more than last year at a median listing price of $295,000, unchanged from last week, but $4,000 lower than last year. 66 days on the market is down 1 from last week, but 6 more than last year. 790 condos, that's down 5 from last week, but 20 more than last year at a median price of $195,000, unchanged from last week, but $5,000 lower than last year. Days on the market are at 112, that's down 1 from last week, but 8 more than last year. 479 homes went from active to pending, that's up 90 from last week. 274 went from pending to close, that's down 70 from last week, but there are 332 homes projected to close today and tomorrow. So, significant amount of closings as we are at the last business days of the month of January, which are, again, the busiest days of the month in general. 1,850 homes are in a pending status. That is up 220 from last week, and that's really a pretty significant jump in 1 week, with this being our highest total in a little over a month. One new statistic that I'm going to talk about this week is we have 850 homes that are currently listed as active in the MLS. The sellers have accepted an offer, and that offer acceptance could be a buyer doing it subject to an inspection, short sale approval, review of association documents, sale of a buyer's current home, other potential reasons. So that's 850 active listings that are essentially pending. So we can actually add the 850 active subject to inspection, whatever, to our pending listings. And that's going to put us at about 2,700 active with contingency and pending listings. That's really approaching even just our total amount of active listings on the market. We have more than one active listing compared to the active plus active and contingent listings, but things are moving. The market is absolutely moving, which is good for sellers and good for buyers too. This 850 active with contingent is separate from the 3,674 actively listed homes on the market. Really very good volume going on in the market right now, even with low inventory counts. And I'll talk about low showing activity here a little bit later too, but still good activity, or good sales maybe is a better way to put it. Temporarily not available for showing inventory rose 87 to 904. I think that's primarily due to weather. Some people put their homes in a temporarily not available for showings while they've accepted an offer and during the inspection period. So that's another reason that temporarily not availables may have gone up as opposed to down, which I would have expected, but I think it's primarily weather driven. On the mortgage side of things, rates didn't move much again, but I am finding lenders, multiple lenders here today that I talked to, my preferred lenders, that are locking their clients 5.875, 5.99, maybe a little bit over 6, but for the most part, right around that 6% number, lower in some cases, higher in others for a fixed 30-year mortgage. The range is kind of looking at 5.875 to 6.25 for that 30-year conventional. We're up about 1/8 from 1 month ago and 3 months ago, down 1/8 from 6 months ago, up 1/8 from 9 months ago, and down 1/4 from 1 year ago. We're nearly at the end of our third consecutive year of mortgage rates having a total range of about 1.5%, meaning that over the past 3 years, we've seen rates as much as 0.75% higher than where we are today and 0.75% lower than where we are today. But for the most part, it's been a very much tinier range than that total range of 1.5%. Showing activity for the week dropped significantly to 8,270 realtor scheduled showings from 9,400 showings the prior week. Showings per listing dropped to 2.76 from 2.96. Certainly didn't help that we had a weather weekend like we had, which is bitter wind chills and average daily high temps under 6 degrees and lows of -11. Last year, we had 10,725 showing requests for this last full week of January and 3.45 showings per listing. Looking at last year, though, our average daily temperature over this same time frame was 32 degrees as a average daily high. We had a 50-degree day this last week of January last year. And our average lows hit no lower than 12 in general for this last week in January last year. And we had no snow on the ground at all at this time last year, where we have trace to 2 inches for the most part around the metro now. We started this January with moderate temperatures. Early January is not a great showing activity time, so we didn't get a lot of showing traffic. But then as we hit the middle of January, our temperatures dropped off the cliff here this past 2 weeks. Last January, the entire month was very comfortable, a couple of days below zero, but we had much better weather and much better weather for people to go out and look at homes. So that's really part of the reason why we see lower activity this year than last year. Heavily weather driven. However, we just still are seeing slightly less showing activity this year than last, even though rates are 0.25% better and in many cases under 6%. With that said, the market is busy. I have buyers who are looking for homes that are running up against multiple offers already for good homes. We have listings that have sat on the market for a few months. I've talked to multiple realtors about this today that had low showing activity. And then all of a sudden over the weekend, they saw multiple offers. I had clients just in the past 2 weeks lose out twice due to multiple offers on properties. So we are seeing multiple offers out there. We are seeing this still as being a seller's market. It's going to be a very busy market for sellers and buyers. If you are looking to buy or sell, it is time to plan. I'd love to be a realtor that helps you accomplish your goals. If you have friends, family, coworkers that could use my help, If you're looking to get rid of that crazy neighbor, pass along their information to me, and I'd be happy to contact them. I love helping anyone from all walks of life who wants to accomplish some form of real estate goal, buying, selling, investing, whatever it happens to be. Maybe you think the market's going to crash and you want to get into being a renter for a while. I can help you sell the place you have, help you go rent. I do not believe the market's going to crash. I would stay in the real estate game. It is a long-term game, not a short-term game. Maybe you want to upsize. Maybe you're a first-time home buyer. I can help everybody along their path. Please reach out anytime. Share this with people. I'm not a secret agent. So please reach out anytime, and I hope you have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.